The movie Locke from 2014, starring Tom Hardy, is one hell of a movie. I tell you, it's a testament to the skills and talent of a filmmaker and an actor if they can keep you thoroughly engaged and immersed in the plot of a movie where the entire thing takes place in a car. There's no music, no special effects, no action, nothing. It's just an unfolding hour and a half in real time of a man's life falling apart because of his own silly decisions, but at the same time, him attempting to rectify him, to take responsibility and to redeem the bad decisions he made in his life. He's trying to do what's right, to take the mess he created and to improve it for everybody. He's trying to fix his mistakes. And the whole movie is that, in a nutshell, a guy talking on the phone with his wife and his lover who's pregnant, heavily pregnant, going into labor, about to give birth. All right. And he's a construction manager, the manager of a big giant construction site in the middle of London. And he's got to handle all the logistics of this construction site, the concrete. Actually, I think he's only in charge of the concrete for the most part. Yeah. So he's got to coordinate all the crews and the contractors and that to make sure this pour of concrete is right. And if it's wrong by a small percentage in terms of the mix of the concrete or the timing of it or anything logistically is wrong, the whole thing could be jeopardized, the entire project. And it could ruin his company. Right. So he's got to, all right. So what happens is the night before this big pour is about to happen, he gets the call that the woman he had an affair with, a one night stand when he got drunk one night when he was away from home on a project for work. He has this one night stand with her. He knocks her up. All right. But instead of abandoning her, he wants to do what's right. He wants to support his baby. Right. And she goes into labor the night before he's about to do this big pour the next day. So he's got to leave work and drive there. And she lives like an hour and a half, 2 hours away. And the entire movie starts from him leaving work and on his way there to the hospital to be there for the birth of his kid. All right. And on the way, he has to juggle the construction project, making sure that stays on time, on schedule, everything is lined up perfectly. And he also has to break the news to his loving wife. He has a loving wife and a peaceful home life with his two sons. And it seems like a happy family and a happy marriage. And he has to break the news to her that he ain't coming home tonight because he's knocked up another woman. He had a one-night stand affair and he's about to have another baby. So he didn't tell her for 9 months. And he's got to let his wife know that. At the same time, he's dealing with the stress of making sure the construction project goes. And he also has to comfort and calm down the woman he had the one-night stand with, the mother of his new baby. He has to juggle these three life-shattering and deeply, important issues all at the same time. And you see the stress. I really felt for him. I know the situation was of his own creation, but he owns that. A few times he tries to make an excuse here or there to his wife to explain it. But at the end of the day, he owned his mistake. All right. He didn't run from his mistake. He's trying to rectify it. What more can you ask from a fallible man? We're all fallible. All right. Most of us won't make mistakes to, the extent that this guy did. Actually, a lot of people make a lot worse ones. All right. This guy, he had a moment of weakness. He gave in to his temptation. He did the wrong thing, but he's trying to fix it now. And it's costing him his marriage. It's potentially going to cost him his job. And, he hopes it's not going to cost the life of his newborn child because the woman he had the affair with is really stressed. She's a very demanding person. And she really needs his emotional support, and she's trying to have a relationship with him, and he has to let her down lightly. At the same time, she's dealing with the stress of the labor, that he doesn't want to have a relationship with her, but he just wants to be there for his child. And he's also dealing with the lingering trauma within him of his own father's neglect of him and mistreatment of him, and his determination in life to be better than his father, but then he feels like he succumbed to the same temptations his father constantly did. So he's battling with himself and some self-hatred at the idea that he's no better than his father. But then he rises above it because he's like, no, I'm gonna own my mistakes, and I'm gonna take responsibility, and I'm gonna do the right thing where you didn't, in terms of his father. And the acting is superb. It's just, Tom Hardy is the only person on screen the entire time. We hear the voices of the other people, and the voice acting for them was fantastic, but Tom Hardy carries this movie. It is his film. His performance elevates this from what would have sounded like an interesting concept on paper, but it sounds unfilmable. But because of his amazing performance, he takes that off the page and makes Ivan Locke, into a real person. That you feel his stress, his self-hatred, but at the same time his determination. And it's kind of an uplifting story. At the same time, I feel sorry for him the whole time watching his life unravel. I feel bad for him, and by the end of it, I'm actually really rooting for him to pull through, because he seems to be a guy that is well-intentioned. Even though he made a mistake, he's a well-intentioned guy who's trying to do the right thing. And when someone's trying to do the right thing, they're trying to rectify a mistake, you shouldn't kick them when they're down. You encourage them to keep going on a good path, you know? And this movie was just so damn engaging. The script was superb. The writing and the dialogue in it felt so natural. It felt like a real conversations between a husband and wife, a guy and a woman he had a one-night stand with that he doesn't care about emotionally, but he still wants to do what's right by her and by the child. And a guy who, it's amazing as well, because Ivan Locke is a very level-headed, calm sort of guy. He's not an emotional person, and he's not someone who's impulsive for the most part, except for this one-night stand that he had. But apart from that, he's a pretty calm, cool, collected, sort of even-tempered guy. And you can hear that the way he's managing the construction project and the concrete pour. He never loses his cool about that. He stays calm, where a lot of other people probably would have become a nervous wreck and been racked with so much stress that they would have had a mental breakdown. But this guy fucking keeps it together, man. Maybe that's an unrealistic part of this, or, you know, the fact that he was able to stay so calm, cool, and collected for, you know, the vast majority of his ordeal in this movie. But maybe that's just a testament to his character and the way his character was written. There are people like that are very stoic and very cool, calm, and collected, even under pressure, even in stressful situations. There are people like that thrive under duress, and he's the kind of guy that did that. The movie's hard to watch sometimes because how stressful the situation is for him, and you feel like you're in the car with him because of the way it's shot. So claustrophobic, and the cinematography was just great. It put you into the car with him, where you felt like you were a passenger on the ride with this guy while his life's unraveling. Expertly filmed, expertly crafted, expertly written. It's just one of these unknown movie gems that I have a whole playlist of similar films that not many people know about, or that you don't hear have mass appeal or have mass, acknowledgement by people as being a popular film. And this is one of them. It's a movie that flew under the radar of a lot of people. And I just came across it one time online years ago, and I watched it. And then just recently, last year, I rewatched it again, and it was just as good as the first time I watched it. It stayed with me. It's one of those movies that it sticks with you. And I highly recommend it if you've never seen it. If you like tense, suspenseful movies, and this one builds suspense and tension without any real, physical danger, apart from that of his baby. His baby, as it unravels, you hear him talk to the doctor, and there are some medical complications, which are quite frightening. And you feel that tension. But apart from that, there is, Ivan Locke's in no physical danger, but there's still so much tension because of the stakes of what's at stake in terms of his life, his career, and that of his child. that's about to be born. The stakes are high and the tension's high, and they just build it so perfectly. The pacing is great. It's a short film, but it's all in real time, and that serves the narrative and the pacing really well. I love this movie. It's a movie that I'll never forget, and like I said, I highly recommend it. Check it out if you haven't seen it. It should be on more people's radar, and it's a sort of, it feels like an experimental movie because you don't see that many films that are shot in real time with one character only, where it's all on the phone, and it's all just in one location. There's not that many films like that. There's even a movie like Wheelman, which is mostly in the car as well, which is a great movie too. It's on my list of unknown movie gems. But even that film has a few other locations, and you do get out of the car a few times. This film doesn't have that. The entire thing is in the car. And so it feels like an experimental movie, but man, I wish they made more films like this. There are others like that Buried movie with Ryan Reynolds where he's buried alive. I remember seeing that at the cinema, but it wasn't that memorable to me. I don't remember much of it, but that was similar to this. It's all on the phone and just in one location. But Ryan Reynolds is a good actor, but he's no Tom Hardy. Tom Hardy's one of the best of his generation, and it'd be nice to see him do some more sort of thriller type roles. So I really enjoyed this film. I can't reiterate that enough. You got to check it out. It's a must watch if you like these kind of movies. So check it out. And while you're there, thanks for listening. Thanks for coming along for the ride in my rants and rambles. Please like, share, subscribe, comment. Let me know if you've seen this movie, if you like it, if you can recommend any other movies like this, because I like movies like this a lot. So, and let me know if you disagree and you didn't like this movie, and state your case why. Anyway, I appreciate the feedback. So as I said, like, share, subscribe, comment. Thanks. Take care, be good, and I'll see you later, folks.